In this video, we're going to use our TI-83 calculator to find the area between the curves y equals 3x plus 1 and y equals x squared plus 3. Well, let's go ahead and start by graphing this. And if we graph this, and notice I put 3x plus 1 into y sub 1 and x squared plus 3 into y sub 2. And the graph, if you look at it, you can tell that it's intersecting in quadrant 1, but the area in there is very tiny. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Z-box so I can see that better. So zoom 1 gets you to Z-box, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get myself to a spot where I can make a box that should show me where I want to be. So I'm up here somewhere, and it's about that high, and I don't need to be quite that far over. So I'm going to go ahead and move over just a little bit, hit enter. Now you see a little tiny box formed. Well, if we right arrow over, we can make our box as wide as we want, and then we can down arrow and make it as tall as we want. And once we're happy with it, and I might want to go a little bit more that way, then we can hit enter. And this kind of blows things up to see it a little bit better. Now you can see that we've got this itty bitty tiny sliver, and we can also tell from this picture that the line is on top and the curve is on the bottom. Well, so now we want to find the intersect points. So to find the intersect points, we go to second trace to our calc menu, and we'll use option 5, which is intersect. Now it says first curve. Well, since it's over here, let's do the rightmost curve first. We want to be a little bit to the left of where that intersect point is, and we want to hit enter. And then we want to move definitely to the right past it. So we've got this thing surrounded. Hit enter. And then we don't want to guess. We want to let the calculator do the work for us. And notice we get an intersect of x is 2 and y is 7. Now on the AP test, it's a pretty good idea to go ahead and copy down both the x and the y value, because you never know later on in the problem whether you're going to need that y value. So that's our first intersect point. Now let's repeat the process and get the left intersect point. So now I need to be to the left of this intersect point. I'm sorry, my shadow is covering my hand, so I got to go a little slower here. So once I'm on the left, I'm going to hit enter, and then I definitely want to go to the right, but not too far right, because I don't want to get too close to that other intersect point, and hit enter. I don't want to guess. Let my calculator do the work, and it's 1, 4. So now I know that what I've got is I've got basically a parabola and a line. The line is on top. The parabola is on the bottom. I'm trying to find that shaded region. So we set up our integral. We've got from 1 to 2 because we're doing the x values. The top function is the line, 3x plus 1, minus the bottom function is the parabola, x squared plus 3. And don't forget to put your dx. And remember, the theory here is we're finding if this is somehow our axis, we're finding the larger area minus the smaller area, and that's going to give us the area between the curve. Now remember, for AP purposes, you must always write out the integral that you're going to type in to your calculator. I would now go and get out of the graph. I never use the graph for area between two curves. I always use finite, so let's get out of here and do Math 9. And in Math 9, we're going to go from 1 to 2. And now we're going to put our first function, so parentheses 3x plus 1, close your parentheses, minus parentheses, that second parentheses is vital, x squared plus 3. And you're going to need that because that negative needs to be distributed. And that would be dx. and we go ahead and do that. We get 1.6666 repeating, and that looks somewhat familiar, so let's do a math 1 and see if we can get that as a fraction, and sure enough, that's 1/6. So 1/6 would be the area. Now, if you have an older version of the TI calculator, when you do Math 9, you might get something called Finint. If you get Finint, what that means is you're going to type in the function you're integrating, comma x, comma your lower bound, comma your upper bound. Now, that may seem like a lot of work, but it's the exact same thing that you would type in otherwise. So in this particular case, the function you would be putting in is this one right here, and your lower bound would be 1, and your upper bound would be 2. So just keep in mind that's how you use an older style calculator.